Thank you. And the next speaker is Marcin Kasierski, who will present the rules of safe use of mobile phones. He is one of the authors of the campaign called My First Mobile Phone. Good afternoon. I have 10 minutes to speak, and I'll try to start my presentation immediately. Oh, I have 15 minutes. That's great. Good afternoon. I will present a program we developed a year ago, and I will present the developments in the program over the past 18 months. This is a corporate social responsibility project of Centernet, a mobile phone operator. The program targets children in the age group 7 to 10 years of age who usually get the first mobile phone from parents. And the idea was born because I work a lot with kids and young people during the summer holiday, and often it turns out that kids get their first mobile phone, come to a summer camp, they don't know how to use the mobile phone, they may lose it, they may not be able to call parents, and so on. And one of the first surveys we carried out with Millward Brown found out that 19% of children aged 7 to 10 have mobile phones. In the age group 7-14, it's already 34%. And we are catching up with other European countries because that's a very low proportion. In other European countries, the actual share is much higher. And we know from further research that many more kids actually have mobile phones. So we don't know why this early survey actually came up with this very low number. I think up to 80% of children in this age group will soon have a mobile phone each, and that's something inevitable. Hence our campaign. That's our character who tells kids how to use mobile phones safely and wisely. This conference is mostly focused on internet use, but mobile phones and the internet will soon integrate because people now surf the web on the mobiles more and more. And so the main idea for this campaign was to come up with 7 rules of etiquette or ethics in using mobile phones, and also educating kids who get their first mobile phone. And years later, these kids will be 20 plus, and they will be on a bus with you, or in the cinema with you, or in the theater. So they have to follow some basic rules now. And these basic rules are posted on our website, among others. And the campaign had this structure. We had the campaign called My First Mobile Phone, targeting both kids and their parents. And there was a hidden agenda here, in fact, because actually the campaign was targeting kids. It was explicitly addressed to kids with visuals and all, but actually it was also supposed to motivate parents, because without parents' involvement, kids cannot be possibly educated the way we want them to be. Schools, of course, may do their job, but parents should follow up on that. So we came up with this creation with cinema ads and posters and website advertisements and radio spots. We also came up with manuals for parents. And this is Fonio, our character, who talks to kids about his experience and his life and his experience with mobile phones, what to avoid and what to do and how to behave and what to do with your first mobile phone. Fonio has 2 pals, as it is they are quite a brat each, and they have fun together, they have adventures, they live in a cyber world. Now this is a screenshot of our guidebook for parents, the manual presenting and describing each rule individually, and then some exercises to go through with kids. For instance, I will now describe what we did with one rule. You should never use up your account completely, so you can not call anyone anymore. Now, how do you transmit this to kids? How do you talk about this role with kids? So our manual presents exercises or activities to do with kids. So that's a manual for parents to practically implement and communicate all these rules to kids. Our main platform of communication is the website www.myfirsthandmobilephone.pl, which features information for kids and parents. And as you can see, the visual profile is mainly addressed to kids because it's kids whom we want to reach out to. There are also some resources for schools, more on that later because it came later. And as for the creation, this is just a sample because time is short. So this is rule 3. You should never use up your mobile phone account completely. And that's the spot we developed and posted online, not only online, and then also developed a comic book based on that. Let me show you this short video, which I have to manipulate for a moment before it opens. Doesn't quite work. No, it does.
Fonio radzi.
Fonio says, don't use it all up. So that's a sample. It's one of our cartoons. We have many, one per role, and they are also available online. And then there was another version of these spots for the radio. We created some BTL resources published by Vobis. There's this newsletter that you may be getting in your mailbox free of charge. It also described the rules, and the issue was 4 million. I never thought they produced so many, but they do. And there was a lot of feedback. We got a lot of clicks on our website. We also developed a theatrical spot where Fonio goes to the cinema, finds out that it's not such a good idea to keep your mobile on. That spot was shown in theaters before the main feature in 70 cities across Poland for a week. You know, there are ads and trailers before the main feature in the theater, including a brief video that tells you to turn off your mobile. That was one of those. And we were, of course, showing this trailer before films addressing this age group, not horrors or something like that. And there were also some radio spots broadcast by 2 Polish radio stations and by Cartoon Network. I think we got the most feedback from Cartoon Network and the Cartoon Network website. So many kids go online and visit the website. I was surprised. Although I must say that the cartoons on Cartoon Network are not something I would prefer. We also developed some comic books which illustrate all these rules. They are available on the website, and we also use these comic books in our BTL campaigns. We also had a range of posters displayed in shops with toys for kids. They were also displayed in schools, quite many schools, and also in a magazine for kids. There were also online banners that we developed jointly with a partner. We also opened a competition together with the women's magazine Przyjaciółka, and awards were funded by Vobis, and we got about 1,000 text messages with solutions of the quiz. All these resources were published on YouTube and other community portals. We also opened a blog where Fonio talks about his life. You can go online and read for yourselves. So this is a multifaceted communication campaign. We also prepared class scenarios. You can get these teaching kits from us on request. These include standard classes on mobile phone use with teaching aids for teachers and students, we also have English classes where Fonio features in an English class. So learning vocabulary in English, like mobile phone, handset, and so on. And that's an interesting initiative, actually, because teachers sent us a lot of work created by children in class. And this is when we came up with the idea for a competition to develop yet another rule, rule number 8, because we developed 7 rules, so we asked kids to create rule number 8. And we opened a competition which took about a month, a competition for the 8th rule. We got a lot of feedback. Some proposals were interesting, others were absurd, but we actually managed to come up with rule number 8, which says your mobile phone is about you and not everyone around you has to listen to you talking, because apparently young people don't really like listening on others talking at the top of their lungs on the bus on a mobile phone. So we also developed visuals and other resources for rule number 8, and opened yet another campaign on the Warsaw Underground. We developed another cartoon focused on rule number 8. We developed this cartoon about not talking loud on your mobile phone on the bus or on the underground. And there are city lights on the Warsaw Underground, you know, those screens, liquid screens, which displayed our ad for a while. And then there are also radio broadcasts devoted to the 7 rules. Experts and guests are invited to speak on the radio about these rules. And we are halfway through this series. These broadcasts can also be watched and listened to on our website. And the last thing we did
is the Fonio song, where part of the animation or the character of Fonio, we did a 3D animation, was done by a 16-year-old. He was just under 15 when he began. And it's interesting because there was a time that he had a 600 zloty phone bill that his parents had to pay, and as by way of not community work, but he did the animation and the whole thing. So because he had problems with his phone in his time. And there's the phone, the song. We invited Novika, pop singer, popular with the younger generation. We wrote the lyrics and the music at our marketing department. And let me show you the video, the clip. And the next stage will be a nationwide campaign where we try to persuade parents to talk to their children, because we did a survey with Millward Brown where we put parents in one room and their children in another room, and asked them to say something about how they use telephones, what they need mobile phones. And I moved from room to room, and it was surprising to hear what parents had to say, the difference between children and parents. So a child said, well, my mom gave me a phone, but I didn't know how to use it. And the mom says, well, I had to buy him the phone. I had to buy him. There was such peer pressure, and he pestered me. So it turns out that the 2 generations don't always communicate, but we can help them. And one thing that was most incredible about this survey was that children expect adults to talk to them in a congenial setting, to have a nice conversation. Children want to talk, just to talk, but parents generally feel that that if there's nothing to say, there's no point talking. If there's no problem at school or what have you, then there's no point having a conversation with the child. And this led us to develop the next stage of our campaign. trying to convince parents to talk to their children. Everything needs to be talked about, and as I said, many parents believe that if there's nothing to discuss, there's no point talking. We're saying that you should just talk, and the subjects will come up on their own. And in closing, let me just show you the song with the 7 principles, the 7 rules, or at least part of the track.
Bić tu chaosu, trzymaj dzwoń w bezpiecznym miejscu. To nie będzie łez bez sensu. 112 zapamiętaj i na co dzień i od święta. I używaj w ważnych sprawach, bo to nie jest miejsce zabaw. Trzeba szybko gdzieś zadzwonić. Puste konto, jak się chronić. Nie wygaduj się do zera. Trzeci czasem trzeba wspierać. Masz dziwnego SMS-a. Nieznajomy jakiś miesza. Nie odpisuj nieznajomym. Tak wywrocznie stajek oni. Fonio radzi!
Fonio, fonio, nie dzieciaki może dzwonią.
Fonio radzi!
Fonio, fonio, nie dzieciaki może dzwonią.
Dobrze. Wiem, że tyle wystarczy.
So I think that's it. You can download or watch the song, the film clip online. And the next stage will be trying to convince parents to talk to children regularly. And further stages will also be about convergence, about browsing the internet on your cell phone. So shortly, the mobile phone will perform more or less the same functions as a computer.